welcome to Day Home Divas. I'm Joanne.
I'm Cash.
And I'm Sophia.
This episode, we discuss the alleged assaults at Little Stars Montessori. Thursday, March 6th, Parkland RCMP received a complaint of an assault alleged to have occurred at Little Stars Montessori Early Learning Center, located at 280 Pioneer Road on the east side of Spruce Grove. Brody Dyson, Parkland RCMP constable, told Global News that on March 6th, management of the Little Stars Montessori daycare notified parents of some alleged assaults that had occurred. Once the parents were made aware, they then contacted Spruce Grove RCMP detachment. Mounties began investigating, and as of March 12th, there were 7 victims. It was physical assault, but RCMP did not go into further details. The daycare was previously under AHS inspection for violations as recent as December 9th, 2024. Violations included improper diapering, inadequate cleaning measures as a result of significant concerns regarding children's safety. Jobs, Economy and Trade has put Little Stars Montessori Early Learning Center on a probationary license and temporarily removed their ability to care for infants. The province said in a news release that the license will expire on June 12, 2025. Childcare licensing is closely monitoring the program. I'm sorry, but probationary care? What? You can still care for kids for a little while. The only room that has been closed completely is the infant room, where at least one of the alleged assaults happened. I say alleged because the assailant hasn't been convicted yet, but the alleged was caught on video. Like, I'm sorry, but these daycare owners, they need to be held accountable for their actions of their staff, right? I mean, sure, they're not the ones that did it, but you're responsible for the staff at that daycare. So in my opinion, probationary license, just, that doesn't cut it. And shutting down the infant room, but it's okay for the toddlers to be exposed to this possible abuse. That's ridiculous.
Innocent till proven guilty, right?
Right? But I mean, you're caught on video. There's the proof, right?
Facts, but still, that's how they look at it. Morgan, a parent of the alleged victim, said she was contacted by the daycare on Friday. They asked us to come in and they showed us these incident reports. So they walked us through the 3 different incident reports and then showed us the videos, she said. In the first video, Morgan said her 1-year-old was climbing a bookcase. He was picked up by the upper arm and lifted up off the floor and left in a corner. In the second video, she described seeing someone off camera grab her son again by the upper arm and pull him down really hard to the floor.
That's ridiculous.
Then another incident where they grabbed his head, albeit it was gently, but lifted it up slightly, then pushed him back down. Again, off camera, she said. Morgan said the last video showed her son sitting in a high chair, left to watch the other children eat. He didn't get fed until all the other children were fed, said Morgan.
Like, are you kidding me? You're lifting them up by the head?
How do you even do that?
Right? And gently or not, they're not meant to be lifted up that way. Like,
no.
What is going on? And I mean, lifting them up by the arm, easiest way to like dislocate a shoulder. What the hell?
And that's why licensing had put in place that in some daycares you're not allowed to like even hold their hand.
Which
because it could be.
Which I don't know how I feel about that. Because I mean, kids, I know my kids, they always like want to hold my hand when we're walking somewhere, or even just like, it's like a security thing, right? Like if they just need a moment, sometimes instead of a hug, they just want to hold my hand for a second. And that's okay. And I couldn't imagine not being able to do that or not being able to like hug a kid. So like, but where's the line? Obviously, some of these daycare people don't understand that line. Like holding a hand versus lifting them up by the arm. How do you not grasp there's a huge difference, you know?
Yeah.
RCMP said it was aware of the videos, but would not disclose any information about the nature of the assaults being investigated or if injuries were reported. Morgan said she had her son checked out by a doctor and so far he's okay. She also said the daycare told her 2 employees have since been fired. RCMP would not confirm how many suspects are part of the investigation.
I mean, that's a step in the right direction, at least, if they've been fired, right? Like, as we've seen from the Sun Valley one, that wasn't the case there. But yeah, fired, that's great, but we need more. They need to be charged. I guess the investigation is still ongoing, but hopefully charges will be laid.
Hopefully something happens, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Little Stars has had multiple non-compliance reports within the last year. 4 non-compliances were found in total on August 22nd, 2024. So things like medication, written consent of child's parent, furnishings and equipment, indoor and outdoor furnishings, sufficient quantity and variety for children, off-site active. What's that?
Sorry, I just wanted to interrupt. So just hearing that read now, so do we think the medication, without the written consent of child's parent,
I think that they were given medication without written consent, or they had medication for a child and didn't receive written consent from the parent. Because you have to fill out a form. So if I'm to come to date to I give my child their medication, they're on antibiotics, and they're like, okay, we'll take it, bye. Right? I think I'm supposed to fill out a form.
Yes.
The only thing maybe that. Yeah.
Yeah. But I just hope it's not like they're giving them, like Tylenol or whatever.
I think that would be pretty serious.
Yeah, but we've heard of daycares doing that, right? There was a few years. I can't remember how long ago it was. I want to say 5 years ago, there was a daycare center giving them, is it Benadryl to get them to nap?
It was melatonin.
Melatonin, that's right. So, that's why I'm like,
melatonin in the bottle.
Oh God, could you imagine?
My daycare has had non-compliances for that exact reason too. It's just that they have the medicine and they don't have the form to go with it.
Yeah.
Because you're supposed to update it X amount of times too, because they grow and their weight changes. And
right.
So that's usually what it is from my experience anyways.
Yeah, let's hope that's all it was. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's okay. So this one looks like a off-site activity and emergency. So parent advised of. So this one sounds like they went on a field trip and the parent wasn't advised of it.
Oh my goodness.
That's what that sounds like, because it says off-site and emergency evacuation. Parent advised of the activity. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That's why I said this website is so vague. So even if parents look at it, they don't really know how to interpret it.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, because that one's definitely off-site activity. Emergency evacuation.
It's hard.
So unless they had an emergency evacuation plan, and so they went off-site, like a fire drill or whatever.
But their parents should still be advised.
Yeah.
Like even at the schools, right? They have the fire drills, and then parents get the emails going, "Hey, we did this today."
That's probably what it was. They had an emergency evacuation activity, and they just didn't tell the parents.
I wonder how, the daycare that we saw on Facebook, and they've got their outside area is like a balcony.
They just jump off the balcony, Joy.
Right? I'm like, how did they do it? That's a good question to ask them. How are you doing your emergency evacuation drills?
Right.
Because normally you go outside, right? But now they're on a second floor, so they have to go down the stairs and out the door. They can't just go on the balcony.
What if the fire's in the hallway?
Right? Oh.
And they have all those kids to bring with them.
Yeah.
How are you keeping track of them?
Right. That's,
Yeah.
We have some questions for them. Okay, continue. I'm sorry.
All righty. Staff qualifications. 1 in every 3 of the primary staff certified at a minimum as a level 2 ECE. So they didn't have the proper certified staff in each room, I'm assuming.
Right.
So 4 non-compliances were found in total on February 24th, 2025. Medication needed by a particular child is accessible only to that child and staff. No idea. Another furnishings and equipment, indoor and outdoor furnishings, developmentally appropriate.
Oh, so then they probably didn't have, for each age group, you're supposed to have like outside equipment or like indoor and outside equipment that's developmentally like for the right age, right? So maybe that's that.
Yeah. Another furnishings and equipment. Infants provided with a bed type approved by the statutory director.
I wonder if they use playpens.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's a big no-no apparently in daycares, right?
Yeah. Who knows? I wish they would be more thorough.
Right.
In writings.
As a parent reading this, like we have a background in this, so we can understand a little bit more. But as a parent that has no clue what like a level 2 ECE is, they're just gonna be like, okay. Like it doesn't seem as significant.
It doesn't seem as bad, but it was bad enough to be written up. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, 10 non-compliances were found in total on February 24th, 2025 as a result of a complaint investigation. Notice of changes, comply with program plan in accordance with section, I have no idea what that is. Manner of feeding appropriate to age and level of development. Minimum staffing and general supervision.
I mean, those are pretty big ones, right?
Okay, so those are pretty good. So children aren't being supervised. Manner of feeding.
So that could be like if you're not helping the babies feed, or if they're
getting like a big plate and big spoon and told to go at it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So it seems here children were probably left unsupervised at one point.
Yeah.
We have to remember this is a complaint investigation, right?
Yes.
So,
which is totally different and more important basically than the regular ones.
So child guidance deny or threaten to deny any basic necessity, use of physical restraint, confinement, or isolation. Incident reporting, report each incident to director in manner required by statutory director. Provide a minimum of 3 square meters per child on the floor, right? So sounds like too many kids.
Too many kids in a room,
Ratios and maximum group size, minimum primary staff member to child ratio, supervised care for sick child, kept away from other children.
So basically they had a kid that was sick and they just left them by themselves.
Yeah, but this
I'm guessing in
here. Use of physical restraint, confinement, or isolation. What is that?
Right? Like, I feel that this, on this website, there needs to be, like we said, there needs to be more clarification. Like, this is just, you can't physically restrain the kids, like, unless they are trying to really hurt another child. Why would you?
You know what? Technically, you can't restrain a child unless you have special training in it. So if you have a child who has special needs and is very, very aggressive and is going to hurt you or someone, but you have to have special training in it. Otherwise, you can't touch that child.
Right. And I feel like
schools too, right? You have to have that special training. Otherwise, do not put your hands on anybody.
And usually they tell you if you're in a room and the kid's throwing chairs, you get out of the room and you let them have at it.
You do a reverse evacuation and you let them do what they need to do to calm down. And
you don't touch them.
No.
Yeah. Because there's certain ways you have to do it, right? Is that not, that's why, like, you have to have the special training? Like, there's certain ways.
There is certain ways so you don't hurt yourself and you don't hurt the child, right?
Exactly.
So they teach you special ways to lift up and restrain, and so you're not hurting someone, right?
Yeah.
I took it a long time ago. I took it like 20 years ago, and so we learned all those. But I
just couldn't imagine like trying to physically restrain a child, like
a 2-year-old.
Right? Like, what could you possibly? First of all, if a 2-year-old's throwing stuff, I mean, another 2-year-old might get hurt by it, but if they throw something at you, you're fine.
Yeah,
Like,
you'll survive. Yeah.
right? So I
Yeah.
just couldn't imagine feeling I needed to physically restrain a child or like for any reason for myself, like for my safety or their safety. Like,
yeah,
it just, yeah.
6 noncompliances were found in total on March 24th, 2025, at a follow-up to enforcement action inspection. Comply with program plan, daily attendance of primary staff member, children supervised at all times, child guidance reasonable in the circumstances, use of physical restraint, confinement, or isolation, provide a minimum of 3 square meters per child. So these are the same as?
No, so these are basically, this is the follow-up.
Oh, follow-up.
So, yeah, they went back to
do.
So it still says order to remedy. So that means they haven't been.
Yeah, they didn't fix it. So basically they got their first, like when they had the complaint, when they did the complaint inspection and they found all those things wrong. So then they would have been given a date or like, okay, we're going to come back. And so when they went back, they still had all these non-compliances. So now they're saying, you still need to fix your shit. Like, come on, people.
Okay. And then 6 non-compliances were found in total on April 2nd at a follow-up, once again. Comply with program plan, nutrition, accordance with food guide recognized by Health Canada or Alberta Health.
So technically that's a new one.
Yeah, that one's a new one. So they're not feeding the kids. They're probably.
So not only did they not fix the things they were supposed to fix,
there's added.
Or they've added more.
Yeah. And we've got indoor and outdoor furnishings developmentally appropriate again, minimum staffing and general supervision. So not enough supervising of the children. Child guidance, reasonable in the circumstances. Supervised care for sick child kept away from other children.
Like, I'm sorry, but if you're this daycare owner and you got a complaint, and so they came and did their inspection and found all these things, I personally, my brain would go, oh my God, we need to fix all these things. So the next time they came back, they'd be fixed. But not this picture.
Like if I'm a parent and I'm looking at this, it's all order to remedy, probationary license, and then order to remedy the same things over and over and over again.
Right? Like they're not, are they even trying to fix them? like is there some...
Me as a parent, I would be like, why are they giving so many leeways to do it?
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
That's 2 order to remedies. How many more?
Right? Like there has to be some, I don't know, limit to how many times you can mess up. Like, I can't help but think if this was a private day home and they came and said, hey, you guys aren't doing this right, you got to fix it. When they came back the first time, if it wasn't fixed, we'd be shut down. So why is a daycare center any different? I mean, we have 6 children in our care. They have 100. So should they not be held to a higher standard?
Yeah, they should.
This is completely ridiculous that this is their 3rd time. And it's not only is it still the same shit on each thing, we added a new one.
Yeah.
Oh, this is just, it's ridiculous. Like, I'd really love to talk to someone that does these inspections and hear from them.
Yeah.
You know,
that would be cool.
Right? Like, I'd love to ask, like, how do you go back to the same place 3 times and nothing be fixed? And then still say, okay, well, you got to fix it next time. Like, yeah,
that'd be cool. Little Stars Montessori CEO Razia Corney, who also owns Learning Robin Montessori, Dickensfield Daycare, Roots Montessori, and Seven Stones Daycare, Hajra Ali is listed as the managing director at all 4 centers also. Learned Robin also has noncompliances. 2 noncompliances were found in total on August 16, 2024. So comply with program plan in accordance with section 2A and 5B. Core requirements, each staff volunteer provide current criminal record check to license holder every 3 years.
Like, hold on now.
Outdated
You're not getting your criminal
outdated criminal record checks, or none at all, right?
Exactly.
So,
right there, you should not be allowed to be around the kids. If you can't get your criminal record check,
no.
Right? And even if it's just, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot mine expired. Okay, but you can't be around the kids until you get it done.
Or by yourself. Because in my daycare you weren't allowed by yourself if you didn't have it done.
Right? Like, this is like, it's basic stuff, right? Like you get your first aid, your criminal record check. That's all you need. Like, that's all you gotta do.
Yeah, you're dealing with kids, right? Like, even my husband, he coaches, and they will not allow him to coach without a criminal record check updated every 3 years. Like, it's just it's not happening. It should be like that if you're working.
Exactly. And that's coaching, where usually the parents are still there and stuff, right? Like, it's not quite as isolating as being in a daycare center.
Exactly.
So if they're capable of making sure that stuff's getting done for coaches, why is the director of this daycare not capable of making sure her staff member
they actually
has the required stuff?
They actually don't even care.
Right?
So Roots Montessori also has a noncompliance. One was found on May 28th, 2024. And this one is ratios and maximum group size, maximum number of children in the group. So
that's a big one.
Yeah, it is.
Ratios not being followed.
Yeah. Like, and too many kids per staff, like that's not okay. That's, making sure the kids are safe, making sure that there's not too many kids for one staff member to be able to supervise, and they can't even follow that. Like,
the Seven Stones daycare.
Yep, this is their
daycare. So are they an out of school?
Because
it says here out of school care facility based program, Seven Stones daycare.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, they might have like a daycare and an out of school center. I should have clarified.
So this is a follow up to enforcement action. So comply with program plan in accordance with section 2A and 5B. I should Google what 2A and 5B is because I really don't know, but I should research that. Minimum staffing and general supervision, children at all times supervised. Child guidance, reasonable in the circumstances.
Yeah, they really struggle with this supervising
the kids, right? Minimum staffing and general supervision, children at all times So it's this over and over again of children not being supervised properly.
Do we kind of know though, like what background the owner has, like that other daycare?
Oh yeah, we'll get there. We're getting there.
So funny. So yeah, that was an out of school program, and that was basically just all children not being supervised. So,
and it's all order to remedy.
It's all order to remedy. Yeah.
A 1-star Google review from LA_Jack states, simply put, management sucks and has a poor attitude when you have questions concerning how they care for your child. The other child providers were great at their jobs for the most part, but there seemed to be a high turnover rate of their staff. While we were attending, we've experienced unexplained scratches, which was more than the typical accidents kids would get while they played. It was brought to their attention, but it didn't seem like much of a concern to them. On top of that, there is more than one occasion when you would call the daycare multiple times during the day and no one would answer. If I had an emergency and needed to get a hold of them, it would have been near impossible. This is a shame since the daycare has a great potential, but it needs better management. Another review from Lacey Wright says, they picked up my daughter from school when they weren't supposed to. When I called the daycare in a panic, they told me they didn't have her when they did. For 30 minutes, I didn't know where my kid was until the school figured out she actually was at the daycare. To this day, management at Little Stars Montessori in Spruce Grove remain unaccountable and unapologetic. What the hell?
I'd be pissed.
No kidding. Like they physically, like they picked that kid up from school and then they're like, no, we don't have her. How do you not know you don't have her when you picked her up from school? What?
And it sounds like they went into the school to get her because it sounded like it was earlier than normal. So wouldn't they have to sign out or
I would think so.
speak to the front? I
Like
don't
to
know
the
how
office
school
staff
works,
at least. Yeah, that's this one kills me. A 5-star review from Sean Ferguson stated, "Great place to get your kids an ass whooping." And that was a 5-star review. So I'm not sure if he just was thrilled that they were so strict with their kid or if he's being sarcastic or what, but I had to add it in because I got a giggle when I read that. Like, and which is not funny. I'm not making light of like child abuse. It's just how he wrote the review it's just funny. So again, there is the same disclaimer on Google as the others have had that says some results may have been delisted consistent with local laws. So there again, they're not happy with all the complaining on Google or whatever. It makes them look bad. So they have delisted some of the stuff about them. I really wish I could find out more info on that, like how that works, more like what you have to do to get something delisted. It's not very, I don't know, it's not stated clearly how you go about doing that. It just says if basically if it's like if there's too much of it or whatever.
I wonder though if it's almost like comments on Facebook and that, how you can post something, like in our groups and that, how you could post something, but you can remove the comments if you don't like them or block
possibly,
them.
yeah. Yeah. Which there again though, I get that there's some people that might make reviews or whatever that are not true or unfounded or whatever and try to make you look bad if, they didn't get their way, whatever. But I can't see that being the case with a daycare. Like that's more with like a restaurant or, you took your car in to get detailed and that they didn't do a good job. Like it's more stuff like that. I can't see people actually trying to leave bad reviews on a daycare center that were not true. I don't know. People surprise you all the time with the stupidity that they do, but this I just don't think would be the case with a daycare.
And with a daycare, you'd probably just see it more like, oh, I didn't like this and this about the center, not putting everyone on blast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know. It's odd. It definitely stands out when daycares do that, right? And it's not even every daycare. Like I've looked up other daycares that don't have this massive list of non-compliances and they don't have it. They're not removing stuff. So who knows? Okay, so as we saw with Raj Sunny and his wife Gaji, who own Little Scholars Daycare Centers that were closed down last year for child endangerment. Razia Carney's employment history prior to owning daycares in Alberta had, or I should say has, as according to LinkedIn, they are still employed there, have nothing to do with childcare. Razia is listed as CEO of P&N Development and Investments Limited from May 2012 to present. So which oddly enough, according to gov.uk, is located at Westminster House, 10 Westminster Road, Macclesfield, Cheshire, United Kingdom. However, just one quick Google search of that address shows that it belongs to Hart Accounting Services. And CEO of 786 Enterprise Limited Group of Companies. 786 NAS Enterprise Group of Companies, self-employed, May 2012 to present, 12 years, 11 months, roughly, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Yet again, when I looked up the company, gov.uk pops up, and once more, with this one located in 159 Greenfield Street, Alloa, Scotland. When I search this address, it just shows a fourplex of flats, apartments. Sorry. There's no business signs. There's no, it's just someone's house. Like when I did the Google map, like the street view, there's just some lady walking with groceries to her house. Like, They can't even like, I mean, if you're going to use a fake address, and this is my speculation that it's fake, if you're going to use a fake address, look it up first, make sure it looks like a business could be located there. And I don't know about you, man, but doing a day home, I could not do another full-time job. This lady is a CEO of two major companies at the same time. It's just weird. I
That's
mean,
crazy.
right? I mean, all for her if she's got all that energy to be the CEO of two huge companies, but weird locations that she works or lives in Edmonton. One's in the UK, one's in Scotland. And I get you can work remotely, but
So bizarre to me, right?
yeah, it just, I mean, maybe there's a whole other like CEO life that I'm not aware of because I work from home. So maybe I'm in my little bubble and I don't understand how all this works. But in my brain, being a CEO of a company is kind of a full-time job. So not only does she got two CEO jobs, but she also runs, what was it, 4 or 5 daycares? Like how many hours are in her day? Because
Yeah.
And how much commitment, the people, the kids, that explains.
exactly. Yeah.
Does she even live in Calgary?
I mean, according to what I'm finding, she is in the UK, she's in Edmonton, she's in Scotland. Like I
Right?
don't
It's
even
like,
know.
where does she
Like,
even live? Does she even? She probably just opens them and then hires staff to deal with them.
yeah.
She probably has nothing to do with her centers, right?
But I mean, when you look up the centers, her face is all over. Like, this is who owns it. So
Right.
if you're going to be the face of your company, just a suggestion,
Yeah.
show up and be at your company.
Yeah.
Or say that, like, don't be the face and let the people, like, I get it. You have all this money, you bought all these companies and stuff, and you're letting staff run them. That's fine. But then don't be the face of the company. Let your directors be the face of that company. Like,
Right.
it just, I just can't with all this, like, there's so much going on and but like, it would be fine if there wasn't a multitude of non-compliances. Like if her daycares were running smoothly and fantastic and do like no problem, but they're not. So when your company's floundering and not doing a good job, and especially when your company handles small children, be present, show up, fix it. You're the one ultimately that owns it. It's your job at the end of the day to make sure your directors and your staff are following the rules, doing everything that they're supposed to do. And if that's not happening, the onus is on you as the owner of the company. So maybe don't be the CEO of two other companies and own 5 daycares and then try and get everything to run smoothly. Just because as a human, that's not possible. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you would have to be like, I don't know, you have the time turner from Harry Potter so you can keep going back in time. Like, I don't know how you get all that shit done in a day, right?
Right.
Like, God. And can I have that magic? Because there's lots more things I need to get done, like laundry and vacuuming. And I have that magic. God.
Clean my house.
Right? So I feel like there's a pattern with all these daycares owned by the same people, having the same problems over and over again. And yet the government is allowing them to open more and more centers. And like we've talked about with Little Scholars, the owners have no education or experience in childcare. Something needs to be changed. We need better rules and regulations regarding who can own daycare centers.
Yes.
So
I'm
there's got to
finding
be
it
something.
really odd how all these realtors own daycare centers.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre. It's bizarre to me.
I wonder if the reason the realtors are owning them is because they know where the good property prices are.
Yeah.
They know, like, oh, this is a great deal on this piece of land or whatever. But I mean, that's great. But maybe be in partnership with someone that has an education or like their background is in childcare or has the education in childcare. It's baffling.
So I said they
Like,
should have a course just for people that want to buy it to actually prove that they know they
100%.
can handle it.
That's a great idea. There needs to be like as we as employees have to have or providers, not employees, but us as the providers, we have to have a minimum of a level 1. right? So maybe they could have some like daycare owner like class that they take, and they have to have a basic understanding of what it entails to own a daycare, like all the basic rules, right? Like, because I'm sure there's got to like there's paperwork that they have to fill out. So there is the like you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this, but maybe it needs to be more than just in the paperwork they're filling out. Like it's a pass or fail course. Like you take this, like kind of like what we do with first aid, right? Like you pass or fail. You either know how to save a child if they're in danger or you don't.
Yeah.
So maybe that should be something that they have to take as well.
Something. Should be something.
Yeah. I know there's the basic rules they have to follow. There's a basic level, like standard of care that they have to oblige by, but we're seeing more and more of these daycares are not following that. And all they're getting is a non-compliance. Well, so it's written obscurely on some website that no parents ever heard of. Like, so what? Like there has to be more than that. And how many non-compliances can you have before you're shut down?
Yeah.
And not just like you can no longer look after infants. Like I'm glad we're taking care of the infants, but there's more children there still, right? Like what about them? What about the 2-year-olds? What about the 3-year-olds? And it just
Can you imagine though what our healthcare would look like if people were just buying hospitals and open them?
Right? Like, or our education, if we decided like, hey, let's open an elementary school because I found this great piece of land and I'm going to hire these teachers. They don't necessarily have a teaching degree, but they're pretty good with kids, they say. So let's just, as long as we've got the curriculum, we'll figure it out. Like, what?
Yeah.
My God. Like, and it's like people, I think maybe they underestimate how hard it is to work with kids. Like maybe they don't realize, like, oh, you just got to keep them alive. Well, you got to do a little more than that. I mean, that's starting point, right? Like, I mean, that's if you've done that, that's fantastic. But there is more to that. Like, there is more than just that. So maybe people aren't realizing, like.
And I've had so many employees go through the doors because they think it's a babysitting job. You sit there and babysit, and it's like you got to do more than that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's not
I was
babysitting.
Right. I was just in this friggin' intense discussion on Facebook with another provider over allowing kids to jump on a couch. And I don't know if you guys saw it. And I'm like, but that's not okay. Like, that's not safe. And they're like, well, you can't expect the kids to not have, like, to have good impulse control. Like, nobody said that. Like, I didn't say I'm just saying that you need to protect the kids. They're jumping on a couch is dangerous. They're like, you can't expect kids to be robots. I'm like, again, nobody said that. I'm saying it's not safe to let them jump on the couch. You have to every time they're jumping on the couch. So if you have a child that loves jumping, which great, but we know as the adult in the room, jumping on the couch is not okay because it's not safe. So then you just say you can no longer sit on the couch. You got to sit on the floor. That's natural consequence. Totally fine.
Yeah.
Well, holy man.
I was going to jump in. I was going to jump in and I was like, I'm not doing it because for me, mine try and jump on the couch and it's the same thing. And I'll be like, if your parents at home let you jump on the couch, have at her. That is your parents. They're watching you, not me. Yeah. But if you're jumping on my couch, you're getting off my couch. I'm like, you ain't hanging out.
Yeah, that's my whole point. Like, it's not that the jumping is the big deal, but I'm responsible for your little butt. And when your little butt jumps off there and your head hits something, I'm not being responsible for that. And yeah, so I mean, I get it. There's people have different levels of what they think is okay and what they shouldn't do and stuff. But as a general rule, there's certain like keeping the kids alive, keeping them safe, helping them learn to like what's good or bad, right or wrong, how to get along with other kids. Like, we're not babysitters. We are early childhood educators. And there's a huge difference. And I don't think everybody out there that like all the parents, I don't think they necessarily understand that. So when they take their kids to these daycare centers, they just are looking for a babysitter or just expecting a babysitter when they should be expecting way more, right? Like you should be expecting your child to be learning things and not learning as in like, my kid can now do math. I'm sorry if your 5-year-old can do math. I've got one. He did it. It's great. But that's not what we're teaching 5-year-olds. We're teaching them how to interact with each other and how to share and how to learn through play and stuff like that. That's what they're teaching. So it's to expect that you're just going to a daycare center and your kid's being babysat all day. And as long as they're safe, that's okay.
You're also teaching independence, communication, fine motor skills, gross motor skills. Like it's not, and you can't just, like you have to do these things, right?
Yeah.
We're teaching them life at the end of the day.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, isn't there that saying, everything I needed to know, I learned before I was 5 or something like that, right? Like, because, you learn all the necessities that, like, those concepts are going to develop and evolve and grow, but you learn the necessities at birth to 5 years old. So if your childcare is not helping teach those, it's not a good childcare. I would love to see some of these newer daycares, like Little Scholars and Sun Valley and Little Stars. I would love to just be a fly on the wall and see the educators interacting with the kids and see what exactly how they're teaching them, what they're teaching them, if they're doing anything other than just sitting there and watching them play.
Mm-hmm. I would love to see it too.
Right? Send a kid in there with a body cam.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Just strap on the GoPro.
Right? Like, you just feel, especially when this one really irritates me, that it's constantly out of ratio. Too many kids in a class, not the correct ratios with staff. That really bugs me because it's a simple rule to follow.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and it's laid out there. Like, the director should know exactly, I can have this many kids in this room, this many kids in this room. And if your center is not big enough, like, could you imagine having such a small space? Like, they have their 3 meters or 3 feet, whatever, around them. Can you imagine cramming more kids into that space? The chaos that space would be. Yeah. Like, to parents out there, have you had a birthday party for your kid? That's what it's like. If you add too many kids in a small space.
It's likely staff shortages, right? So there's probably a staff for calling in sick, and then they have to throw a bunch of kids into one room, and then there's not enough.
But then that's where, like, the babysitting comes in too, because now the staff have too many kids per staff that they can't handle those kids, and they're losing those kids.
It's impossible. It's impossible.
Yeah. Especially, like, if you think of them, like, in the toddler room. Actually, no, the worst would be in the infant, like, with the babies. So you can have, like, 1 staff per 3 babies. Could you imagine having 5, 6 babies and just you, and they all poop at the same time, or they all cry at the same time? Oh my God. Right?
It'd be the crying.
Because, I mean, we know when one starts, they all just follow suit, right? And then you throw in just the occasional 3-year-old that likes to join in. Hey, the babies are crying, I'm going to cry too. It's like, whoa, stop. Like, I couldn't imagine having 4 or 5 babies and them all just crying at the same time.
I wouldn't want to put my baby somewhere where there's only 1 staff member and 5 babies.
Right?
Child wouldn't get the adequate care that they need, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't be held and all the, like it just, no.
It's heartbreaking, like, seeing an infant room in a daycare center. And I know that's just judging, but, like, when you see there's 3 babies or however many babies and they're just sitting there in a high chair, because I have witnessed this. So, and they're just sitting there in a high chair and the staff are, like, talking, like, to each other in, at one end of the room, and the babies are all sitting there, and then one cries and they just ignore it.
Yeah.
And so it is heartbreaking. I could not walk past the infant room and, like, look in there. I would literally cover my face. So I'm like, and then speed past, because as when I was a staff member, you can't interfere in other staff's like room, right? But oh my God, it was heartbreaking.
And here I have a baby crying in the high chair and I'm getting that baby out so it stops.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How can you want to listen to that? Like, I don't know if it's my ADHD brain, but I'm like, no, 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 whatever I can do to make you stop crying, I'm good. Yep, let me snuggle you, let me bounce you. Like,
Yeah, my anxiety goes through the roof when they're crying over everything. I'll do whatever it takes. Just stop.
Yeah.
Please just
yeah,
stop.
and it's hard. Like, oh, I'm not going to go too far because I will just start getting mean. But it's like, I don't know, you've got to be a special kind of, I won't use my favorite word, but a special kind of asshole to be able to just sit or stand there and watch babies cry. So, yeah, these daycare centers, they need to do better, man. I think, I don't know, we need to start shutting them down if you have enough non-compliances, especially this one where it's like they got the complaint and then they went back to check. They hadn't fixed anything. So they wrote them all up again. Okay, we're going to come back and check again. Okay, you still haven't fixed anything. Oh, look, you added a new one. Are you like, why were they not shut down? Sorry, but licensing, shut that shit down. They're
Yeah.
not listening.
Exactly. Yeah.
Even shut them down for say, okay, you're shut down for 3 months. Get your shit together, get your staff figuring it out, whatever. Show us you can fix this, and then we'll let you reopen. That's fine. But shut them down. Like they're not listening to you. Shut them down.
And they'd shut us down in a heartbeat. So,
Oh, 100%. That we would get one complaint. They would come and be like, we don't like the look of your face. You're shut down. Like they're just, we would have, yeah, they would have no problem shutting down a private day home versus the daycares with all these non-compliances. It's ridiculous. Okay, well, that's it for Day Home Divas this week.
don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Day Home Divas, on TikTok at dayhome.divas, and join our Facebook group Day Home Divas.
Hope you join us again next week.
Goodbye.
Bye.